Because they all have different cops and badges all the time. And gangs have bandanas and stuff like that. They just
Gangs have bandanas that they can identify with. Cops have badges. It's a good answer, not the answer I'm looking for. What is the difference between the Army gang, the police gang, your green gang, and the gang that's wearing those bandanas, Jeremy?
The police, they're trying to stop crime. The gangs are trying to start crime, and the Army's trying to save us from other people that want to start war.
That's the answer today.
So the difference is crime, right?
The knuckleheads do things that are against the law. The knuckleheads do things that they know they're not supposed to do. The knuckleheads do things that hurt people. This little green gang doesn't go about hurting people unless it's necessary. The blue gang with the badge, they don't go around hurting people unless it's necessary. Next question on the test, thanks to Jonathan's notes. What is a wannabe? Oh, wow, look at the hands. Mr. Torres.
Wannabe is
Are you retired, Mr. Torres?
actually Torres. A wannabe is a follower, not a leader.
Good answer, you guys are getting good. A wannabe is a follower, not a leader. A wannabe isn't necessarily a gangbanger. A wannabe is someone who wants to be. Someone that wants to dress like them and walk like them and talk like them. A few hours ago, Jeremy had a walk that went something like this. Does that make him a gangbanger?
No.
Probably not. But it can make him a wannabe, and somebody can look at him with his little walk and decide that he is, even though he isn't. Sean.
A wannabe is someone who's still in junior high and they copy off the leaders and they want to fulfill the fantasies from all the leaders, and when the leaders die, they probably be a leader after everybody else died.
Well, that answer is like half right and half wrong. It's right in that they're trying to be like the leaders, but since they're wannabes, if something happened to the leader, they're not stepping into those shoes. Probably the most dangerous gang you could be in is a gang of wannabes, because you're not really in the gang, so you don't have the backup that they promise you. But you're not really out of the gang, so they can't accuse you of being, what do they call them these days? Neutron? So you're right there in the middle, trying to catch a bullet.
A wannabe can also be guilty by association. A wannabe could be a guy who's hanging on the street corner. Now, I'm not really in the gang. I'm not really with them, but I hang with them. They're my friends. I went to kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, all the way to 6th grade, 7th grade with them. I never really did the things he did, but I stopped in the corner and I talked to them, and what happened? There's a shooting, guy right next to him shot somebody. He was there. He didn't report the crime, what he's supposed to do. He didn't do nothing to stop the crime. They hung out with him on the corner, guilty by association. A neighborhood friend of mine was in a car on, what was that? Number one. I don't know if he was a trigger man, but wasn't he in the car? Felipe, I take it back. Felipe.
Rosales spent 9
years
in
in jail because he was in the same car. Trigger man got out, shot into a car, killed 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
He killed 2. He spent 9 years in jail. He didn't even pull the trigger. He was a little more than a wannabe, associated with him, he was a gang member. But to make the story related, he started out as a wannabe, hanging out with them.
I'll ask one more question with Jonathan's notes. It's a good thing he took notes. I'm surprised more of you didn't put this to use. Before I do that, I see Max's hand up. Big Max, what do you need?
By the part, the wannabes try to like, they do what they say, and like if the leader says go do that, go do this, they'll do it so they just control the game.
That's exactly what they do. And you know,
I feel sorry for all the other gang members because people that are in gangs, they're the ones who's going to get in trouble because they're the ones who are hanging out. And they don't know. They just want to be in the vicinity.
they want to be in trouble.
And they don't know they're going to get in trouble.
It's not like the old commercial for Gatorade that says, I want to be like Mike. Because if you wanted to be like Mike, then you would have went to college for a couple of years, you would have got a job, you would have made some money, you would have retired young. You would have lived through it all. And if somebody's accusing you of being a wannabe in the streets, it's probably not for good reasons. Final point on Jonathan's little test here. Thanks for the notes again. I'll let your mom know about this. Gang graffiti. Mr. Farr.
As far as grand, graffiti is where they mark their territory and where they hang out and stuff.
So you can tell by the writings on the walls whether a neighborhood or not has gangs? Jonathan, you're shaking your head no? You disagree? You need to speak up. They gotta hear you.
I think that when they do that, they put the other game down. When they put in their name and they do match.
No, you're both right. They are marking their turf, like Max says, and they're putting the other gang down, like you say. They're doing both things at the same time. Eddie was going to say something. Imagine that you live in Kelvin Park with a white picket fence surrounding your house. Imagine you bought a house about a year ago. Imagine that you're renting like me, but I gotta have my son visit every couple of weeks. And imagine that one of the knuckleheads took a spray can and scribbled all over your house. How does that mean? Your house is not worth what it used to be worth because some bonehead spray painted on it. I may as well take a spray can right now and spray all over your new Nikes. How's it gonna make you feel?
My mom would snap.
Yeah, people snap. Mr. Farr.
And they crossed it out and wrote something else on the car because they just said that somebody else crossed it out and put something else.
Does it ever end, you think? Arthur? Got promoted. No, you can speak your mind.
There's a lot of things by my house and every day these teenagers about my age and about 3 years older than me. Walking around my neighborhood off on the track and we would shoot, we would shot once in a while there because there's really going on outside the
Smith.
Okay, this wasn't good. Spray paint all over the walls.
All right. This is in your neighborhood. So some people probably think that you're going to follow in those footsteps. What are you going to do to keep from following those footsteps? Listen to the answer. Not go that way? Is there anything you can do besides not going that way? What's that? Excuse me? Stay away from it. Gonzalez.
My mom, she got in a fight and she didn't know if it was a game banger. And then from the other girl, a lot of other game bangers came over. And then
They went after her?
no, when they were fighting, they were trying to hit her. Then my uncle came and they had a gun and they shot her.
Is the uncle that we grew up with?
Yeah.
No.
Just
Which
another
uncle?
Julio.
Julio.
He tells interesting stories. his uncle is somebody who went to grade school with all three of us. All three of us.
His uncle was like a brother to me. That was my best friend growing up. You want to tell him where he's at right now?
He's dead.
He's dead. That was my best friend growing up.
You still go to the club?
Where did you go? If you were there,
If I were there, right now I'm a police officer. Back then, I wasn't a police officer.
Let me ask you this, Antonio.
Before that, 1 second. That individual made a decision to live his life that way. Back then, he made that decision. He decided to live his life that way. Not talking about his uncle. I'm talking about what could happen to each and every one of us. Or you all, because I know what kind of life I'm going to live. I might make a mistake in the future. Because we're all human, we make mistakes. But I'm going to give it 110% that I don't make a mistake. I'm not going to make the wrong decision. It's going to cost me my life, my family. I'm going to look out for numero uno first. And that's what you have to do. This subject about gangs is directly related to us, because if you're a weak individual, you're going to let somebody run your life.
Thanks. Antino, or anybody else, what can you do? You just asked your drill sergeant, well, what would you have done? If you've got a friend who wants to run with the gangs, if you've got a friend who wants to run around and take part in drive-by shootings, rob stores, wear the colors, walk the walk, what can you do? Damien.
try to convince them to not get in the game, or if not, to not be their friend anymore.
You can try to convince him, Jonathan.
I was leaving the way they are, and I was just going on myself.
Jonathan would just go about his business.
Try to get yourself away from that, right?
Both, none of those answers are wrong. You can try real hard to get your buddies to change their ways if they're doing wrong. And you may not succeed. You can walk away in order to stay away from that. That's not going to make them change either, but it keeps you out of trouble. All right, let me tell you what we're going to do next, and then I'll shut my mouth. I need to get rid of these big, giant negative sheets on the walls. I decided that the way I'm going to do it is I will ask one at a time until the sheets are gone for someone to get up, identify one of these traits that apply to you, step up to the sheet, tell us how you're going to change that, tear the sheet down.
Listen up. Do you understand what he's asking?
Yes,
Well, that means take a look at these and figure out which one is about you. Because we pulled these from your files. Figure out which one is you and go over there and tear it down if it's you. But before you tear it down, you got to come up with a plan. How can you fix that? You understand that?
Yes.
Rebo, you want to go first?
I do.
Oh, hold on. Rebo's hand was up. What did you do?
Is there a name behind it or something?
I know who it belongs to.
Listen. Thought I made myself clear. Remember these guys?
Yeah.
You know, all your names are on these things. And then we asked your moms to fill out the little sheet telling us little special somethings about you. Those little special somethings.
Next thing you know, it's going to go somewhere else. Cigarettes, cancer, right? Haven't you heard it 100 times over?